What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Talk with Taj show. I'm your host, Taj Longino. Log on to the official website at talkwithtaj.com. We have a special guest on the line today. She's an author. She's an attorney. Her name is Lisa Bloom. Welcome to the show as she talks to us about her new book and more. The new book is called Suspicion Nation. Welcome to the show, Lisa. How you doing?
Thank you, Taj. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having me on.
I want to jump right into it. You know, your new book speaks a lot about the Trayvon Martin case, which has been a highly profiled case where George Zimmerman gunned down a teenage boy, Trayvon Martin, 17 years old. Give us your thought. What inspired you to write this book and particularly target this particular case out of all the cases that you have seen in your career?
Well, you're right. I've been covering every high-profile case in America for about the last 15 or 20 years as legal analyst for CNN, MSNBC, NBC, and I had my own show on Court TV for about 8 years. And so I've covered them all, and this one really stood out to me as different. I was disturbed as I watched it gavel to gavel for the Today Show on MSNBC that it was being handled very poorly by the state of Florida. Witnesses seemed to be unprepared. Evidence was not being shown to the jury, explained to the jury, and emphasized to the jury in the way that it should be. The prosecution didn't have a theory of the case. They weren't putting on expert witnesses to explain the scientific issues in the case. So when the case was over, it was obvious to me that it would result in an acquittal because both sides seemed to be arguing reasonable doubt, and it did result in an acquittal. I found that to be a very unsatisfying conclusion to the case. And when it was over, I wasn't able to just move on and put it behind me. I had to know more. I had to know what happened, what went wrong in this case. So I conducted new interviews with jurors, with witnesses in the case, with lawyers, with people who worked behind the scenes to find out exactly what happened, because I think this case is important. I think it's iconic. And I think in 20 years and 50 years, people are going to be examining it to understand what kind of a culture we live in today. So the results of my investigation are in my new book, Suspicion Nation, The Inside Story of the Trayvon Martin Injustice and Why We Continue to Repeat It. And frankly, it was even worse than I thought. The botched evidence, the poor choices made by the prosecution, the very ineffective way that they handled this case, it should be an outrage to any American who cares about justice.
And speaking of, you touched on a few things that I want to ask you about. You talked about how poorly they handled the case. It was once told, I've read this online, and you know, information online can be true, it can be false. That George Zimmerman had a family member that was he was a high-profile judge. Is that true? Did that play a part? And also, with all the mishandling that this case, was that done intentionally? I mean, there is corruption in law, in justice system. So, one was does he have a family member that's a high-profile judge? And two, could this have been a situation where they mishandled this case on purpose?
So that's the ultimate question. In my book, Suspicion Nation, I go through the 6 biggest mistakes that the prosecution made that guaranteed that there would be an acquittal in the case. And so you have to ask, did they blow it or throw it, right? Did they just make a lot of mistakes, or did they intentionally want to lose the case? Now, I let the readers of my book come to their own conclusion on that. I lay out all the evidence and show that the way the case should have been handled, the way it would normally be handled in a typical murder case in America, and show what the mistakes were in this case in a very clear, direct manner. So I'm going to let people come to their own conclusions. For my part, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe that people conspired together to lose this case. I don't have any evidence to support that. I will say that Angela Corey, the lead prosecutor, right after Zimmerman was found not guilty, smiled broadly to the cameras and said the system worked. You have to wonder what that was all about. Nevertheless, I think the answer is that they just didn't believe in the case. They did not believe that Trayvon Martin, an African-American teenager, was truly the victim and that George Zimmerman was truly the aggressor. They certainly did not behave in the courtroom as though they believed in the case. And they didn't go over the evidence. They didn't work the case. the way that I would expect them to. Now remember, these prosecutors never wanted this case. It took 45 days for them to even arrest George Zimmerman. 45 days when they knew that he was the shooter. They knew that Trayvon Martin was unarmed and simply walking down the street. And yet they didn't arrest him until a groundswell of public protest made them do that. And I think we got them to arrest George Zimmerman. That was a good start, but we couldn't get behind the scenes in the prosecutor's office and get them to really work the case in the way that they should have. And I think that's what led to the acquittal.